These are our garage doors, and up at the top, inside that tube, is a spring. It's pre-tensioned by turning it around and around with that mechanism over there, and that helps lift the door. So basically the motor unit doesn't have to lift all the weight of that because the spring load is taking care of a lot of that. Well, the spring broke inside that one. The spring broke inside that one about 6 or 7 years ago. And these are about 16, 17 years old. And according to the information on the springs, they typically last like 7 or 8 years with average use. So the fact that this one lasted so long is actually kind of surprising. And I bought replacements for both of them, so I bought 2 of them this time. So we'll replace this one and I'll have a spare for whichever one breaks next. Let's go ahead and get this taken apart so we can get the new one put in. So I have to remove this entire tube. So I'm going to have to remove it from the middle bearing bracket and that side. So I don't know how well that will show. I'll try to get a few close-ups of it as we go. And I haven't done this in years, so we'll see how this goes. Okay. The bigger bolt, I put the bigger bolt at the top. I'm going to assume that was the right way a long time ago. Not looking up how I did it a long time ago. Okay. Again, the bigger one at the top and the smaller one at the bottom. Because I need to take this whole piece down because the spring is inside that. There's also this screw that's holding this mechanism, it's holding this whole mechanism in. So we have to undo that one from the outside. Let's see if we can see that. I do not know. Might not be able to see that from here. There's the hole for it. So I'll have to get that one out of there. Okay, that piece comes off there. All right. So there's that screw that holds it on there. Okay, then we can lift that out. Since this is the one that does the main winding, it's probably bound up just slightly. There it goes. Just had to pop it that angle, then it should slip out. Okay. And we'll get this down and see the broken spring. So there's the broken spring inside here. So, yeah, it should be a 1-piece spring, and it's a 2-piece spring now. And then this whole sleeve should come out. Okay, so there's the whole unit, and of course this should be 1 piece, and now it's a 2-piece one. So what I bought was 2 of them, so I'd have one for the other door for the future when it breaks. Came shipped in this box, strapped to this this board to keep them safe. And one of these I'll hang up in front of the other garage door, so I'll have it for a spare when it breaks. And a 2x3 included. So according to the label that's on this tube, the garage door tube, this is the exact spring that I'm supposed to have. Hopefully that's true. Well, to start with, it's wound the same direction. That's a good start. The original had a plastic end. This one has some kind of metal end. The length seems right. The spacing seems right. Let's put it in. And what it has is kind of a cam-shaped or a round with a lobe on it. And that lobe, the tube, has that same shape on here, kind of a slight teardrop shape. And same with the plastic piece. Just line it up and push it in. Okay, well, now we'll get it put back up. And of course, lock out the door, the power, so that it can't come on unexpectedly. I am working next to a door that is operational right now. I've got to make sure not to go over there. And when I was in the area, I did lock it out when I was getting close to it. There we go. Well, this would be an easier job with 2 people. It's not an absolute requirement. I put the doors up originally, and then I took them down, and then I moved them to this spot and put them back up. This other one, I've already done the spring before. So it's definitely doable by one person. I built most of the house. Well, I hired out some of the big pieces, the foundation, and then the shell of the house, and then I did most of the interiors. Anyway, did most of the things like installing these, every door, every window, all the siding, the concrete flat work, you know, all those things. Sweet. If this was one of the spring systems that the spring was on the outside and still under tension, I would be worried about it. I would either have help or have somebody else do it. So, well, it would be nice to have 2 people sometimes. Sometimes you can't. Push the spring in enough so that it's in there. And then this piece goes on here. Lift this up, slip it over it. Line it up with the spline or the cam shape piece of that, and then get it pushed in. Make sure that that part's out, and make sure the cable's on the correct side. Needs to go just a little further. There we go. And it goes into that groove. So this is the metal bracket. There we go. You can see kind of a U shape, and then there's a slot just past these splines, and this just drops down into it. And then this wind-up piece slides onto it. You can see that, and then this bottom hole right there, that's where that screw goes into the framework right back here. That holds it, keeps it from coming off. And of course the screws. So we'll get that attached. This piece slides onto there. It engages with that gear. There we go. And then the screw holds it on. Okay, get that screw into there. Okay, screws in there. All right, now put the screws back in there, or the lag bolts, lag screws. All right, everything's reattached. Okay, the cable's in the right spot. So I've got the little winder drum is all set. This is the piece for actually winding, and then there's a nut on the back side. You loosen that a half turn before you start winding this. This is the piece that actually does the counting. It just gets plugged onto the end of there. I don't know if I can get it exactly to 0. I don't know if, because there's not that many splines there. Come on, there we go. Okay, now we'll loosen that nut back here. That will allow this to be turned, and we'll use the powered screwdriver and wind it up. And on mine, it's supposed to be 18. But basically, you're waiting until the door gets basically to neutral position. So I'm going to start with just enough to give it a little tension, and then I'm going to check the track for the cable to make sure it's in the right spot. And I'm going to check the cable position. Make sure that it looks like it's in the right spot. It is. It's in the correct groove. I'm going to check the other one. That still looks like it's in the right position. And then we'll wind it up some more. Okay, that's 16. It's supposed to go to 18. Let's double check that. What I'm looking for is, oh, I should unlock the door. Okay, now it's not being held closed. So what I'm looking for is, does it come up easily and evenly? Well, I'm going to stop at 16 for now, because that seems to be pretty neutral position. Okay, got that finished and tightened. And then we can double check it. And there you go. A simple half-hour job or less for 2 people, or 2 hours for 1 person. But it's back in operation. We can go in and out this door again.